fact, I'm gonna turn it back on. If you go into a lockout, it'll say heater lockout, and it'll say the reason for locking it out. It does store the last 10. You got to go through the menu. My recommendation: snap a photo of it before you reset it. You'll know what's going on. You should always feel safe to reset a lockout. If it's locked out, take a look around, make sure there's nothing, anything looks burnt, no water leaking out, anything like that. If everything looks good, just hit that right button, top right, to reset it, and it'll try again. You know, sometimes you get a fluke, gas, air in the gas line or something.
So the reset is also the off and on.
It's also the off
but
and on.
If it was reading a lockout, this would become a reset.
That's exactly, yeah, exactly.
But, but if there's no reset, there's no lockout,
it's going to turn it off.
It's going to turn it off.
Exactly right. To go into the menu, you'll press and hold this. It's going to queue for a passcode. I don't know how many people are supposed to have the passcode or not. We can do that as needed, you know. And again,
is there a passcode in it now?
Yeah, it's a standard feature. It's in the INO manual. Again, we can, you know. And then the right left, that just takes you, so it says next and previous, so that takes you through all the screens. And then once you're inside the passcode area, basically the up and down, that just helps you navigate through all the menus for set points, things like that. It's pretty well automated, you know.
But you shouldn't have to go in here
you really
for
shouldn't
anything.
have to. No, you never should. You know, I just opened it to see the components, but you really don't need to do much in there. It does have one other component. It's got a safety relief valve on there, just so you know. As far as maintenance components, we recommend maybe having a hot surface igniter. All that's down inside of this panel. A hot surface igniter, because that's a consumable part, lasts anywhere 2 to 5 years, depending on how much and how often it runs. It's pretty easy to change out. We stock a lot of parts for these, like I said, right over on Chapatula Street. If we don't have it, it can come out of Nashville, you know, same day, next day shipping, stuff like, to get it out. Typically 2-day UPS ground, so really simple. And one last thing I did mention, you know what, I did say this already. The heater controls that pump. So when it gets a call for heat, it's going to kick that pump on. After it satisfies, it'll keep it running for about a minute to just get the heat out. Then it'll go back into standby. Any questions?
When you do the maintenance on the burner, does the burner you have to pull the burner out?
You'll pull the burner. And actually, this thing has about 15 burners in it. And you'll buy a gasket for each. They look just like gas grill burners. They're a little bit more, it's like, they're about this big around and about this long. And there's a little gas, it looks like almost like a fiberglass looking gasket. We stock those over there. So you'll just get however, like I said, it's gonna be like somewhere between 10 and 15 burners. There's 2 screws that hold each one in. So, you know, you turn it off, power it off, slide them off. You just clean them with a hose, from the outside in, from the inside out, shake them out. You just prop them against the wall for a few minutes, let them drain, then you can put it all back together. That's the bare minimum maintenance. And you can do that for several years. After that, you may want to open it. So if you take this panel off, there's the wall where all the burners go through. You can get away with that for a couple of years. After that, there's that interior wall. When you pull that, you'll see the heat exchanger, and you may want to brush that out. You don't necessarily have to do that every year, but if you clean it, inspect it, make sure everything's looking good right there.
What is the heat exchanger constructed?
It's either copper or cupro nickel. I'd have to look. Standard is copper. Is what if the design engineer specified cupro nickel, we would have added that to it. I'd have to go back to
we haven't had much luck with cupro nickel. So.
Oh, you'd rather copper? Then yeah, no, either way it is.
What it is.
Exactly. It's got cast iron headers. Basically, that's the header. That's the end of the heat exchanger. Right there. And it's thin tubes.